Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community post, you already know the vibes. And I'm back at you with your NXT review. And this past weekend we had NXT Deadline. And for the last preview or premium live event of the year for the WWE/NXT, it was a fun show, man. It was dope. We have two new Iron Survivor winners for both the men and the women. For the women, we have Blair Davenport, and for the men, we have Trick Williams with the greatest comeback of 2023, man. He was cooking and everything, man. But I'm gonna get into that a little bit more when we get into the review. And we're going to kick it off with the return of Cora Jade, who made a return at Deadline, but now she's back on NXT. She's out here, she's talking to the people, she's talking about how the division, there ain't nothing without her, and how she's the best, and, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. But then you have Laura Valkyria come out, and she's saying, listen, I didn't appreciate you interrupting me. But then you have Blair Davenport come out, who, like I said, won her women's Iron Survivor match. So she's going to be facing off against Laura Valkyria at New Year's Evil in a couple weeks. But then we had the return of Nikita Lyons, who she made a return, I think it was last week, and she kicked Blair Davenport in the face. And this whole thing led to a big brawl, and that set up for our main event match, a tag team match between Laura Valkyria and Nikita Lyons taking on Cora Jade and Blair Davenport. And throughout the show, you had Cora Jade talking to Blair Davenport, and Blair Davenport didn't appreciate, the fact that she felt that Cora Jade stole her spotlight. And then on the face side, you had Nikita Lyons and Laura Valkyria talking some strategy. And they noticed a picture hanging up in Laura's locker room. It was supposed to be a picture of Laura and Becky Lynch. But for some reason, Tatum Paxley, photoshopped herself in Becky Lynch's place. So that kind of led into our main event. And it was okay, Nikita Lyons, she's back from her injury, I'm trying to give her some time, because she's still recovering, and she's still, getting back into the swing of things, so, I'm not going to be too harsh on her. But it was a fine tag team match, and you had Tatum Paxley, causing a little bit of distraction, and Cora Jade actually got the win by pinning Laura Valkyria. Now, how is this going to play into the future? I don't know, because, you already have Blair Davenport challenging Laura for the championship in a couple weeks. But, it wouldn't be too surprising if Cora Jade was next in line after this match, or for some reason, it became a triple threat match because, I don't know, wrestling logic beats me. But after the match, you had Nikita Lyons trying to check in on Laura Valkyria, but Tatum Paxley came in and threw Nikita Lyons out the ring, and she got a little bit close with Laura Valkyria. Well, now where this whole storyline is leading, I have no idea. Maybe it's like a Trish, Mickie James throwback type situation, or I don't know, but we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled on this situation going forward. As for the rest of the show, man, it kicked off with the Metaphor taking on Fallon and the Boys, Briggs and Jensen. And I gotta say, man, every time I see the Metaphor and every time I see them wrestle, I like them even more and more and more, because, they're establishing themselves more as, credible talent, credible wrestlers, especially Last Legend, who is out of nowhere becoming like a powerhouse, a hoss, if you will, a bougie bully. She's throwing people around and suplexing and throwing people over the top rope and just displaying her strength, which is a cool thing to see. But even though you had Metaphor cooking up something fierce, Briggs and Jensen and Fallon Henley ended up getting the win. Even though you had Tiffany Stratton trying to, throw hands with Fallon Henley during the match, this wasn't enough. I think it was Josh Briggs. He got the pin on Orb Mensa. So, after the match, Briggs and Jensen and Henley, they're all talking about, the match and everything. And Josh Briggs, he's feeling himself a little bit. He's trying to get himself a little singles run. He says, you know what, man, since I got a little win over the Metaphor, I might as well challenge for that Heritage Cup. So it's looking like that's going to be a match going forward. And Fallon Henley, she's still pissed off at Tiffany Stratton. And their match got made official for next week. So next week it's going to be Tiffany Stratton taking on Fallon Henley, the grudge match, the rematch, the battle of the blondes. So, that should be pretty interesting, pretty good time. And I'm really, digging Fallon Henley. I'm starting to become more and more of a fan of her. At first I was kind of like, she's okay. But now I'm starting to dig the hype a little bit. And Tiffany Stratton, she's just on a whole nother level. She's already a superstar. So this is a nice little rivalry they got cooking up. All right. So after this, we have the beginnings of the men's breakout tournament, and it started off with Obafemi taking on Miles Bourne, and poor Miles Bourne did not stand a chance against the might and the power of the great Obafemi, man. Obafemi is my pick to win the whole thing. Am I going to be right? I don't know, because during, I guess the opening introduction of the men's breakout tournament, you had, of all people, weird-ass Lexus King. He attacked one of the participants. I'm blanking on his name. I think it was like something Barefoot or something like that. But he attacked him, takes him out of the tournament. So now you have Lexus King taking John Redcorn, whatever his name is. He's going to take his place in the men's breakout tournament. So now I'm kind of like, I want Obafemi to win the whole thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they hit the old switcheroo and gave it to Lexus King, that weirdo, that pervert. He's probably going to end up winning the whole thing. But as far as this opening contest against Miles Bourne, Obafemi established his dominance. He beat the holy hell out of this man, and he advanced on to the next round of the men's breakout tournament. And, fast forwarding, you have representing Chase U, you have, what's his name, Riley Osborne taking on Keanu Carver. And before this match, you had Chase U trying to figure out their financial difficulties. They had a bake sale and a car wash, and I think they raised a grand total of $300. So I don't know if that's going to dig them out of this financial mishap they have going on. But, during this segment, you had Scripps approach Andre Chase with a briefcase. I don't know what's in there, if it's money or drugs or whatever. He wants him to move product. I don't know what they got going on. And this led us to our separate breakout tournament match between Riley Osborne and Keanu Carver. And Keanu Carver, he's another one, man. I was thinking like, okay, maybe he and Obafemi can make it to the finals and they can just beat the hell out of each other like Godzilla and King Kong. But that wasn't the case, man. Riley Osborne ended up getting the win with a shooting star press. Even though Keanu Carver pounced this man out of the state of Florida. I don't know how Mr. Osborne survived, but he did. He got the shooting star press victory over Keanu Carver. So, it sucks for Keanu, but I hope we get to see more of him going forward because this dude was an absolute beast. After the match, you had Thea Hill trying to riz on old Riley. Didn't work out too well. She doesn't have any game. She's a little socially awkward. She's nervous. She's stuttering and stumbling over her words, but it's kind of adorable. But this did lead us to a segment with Kiana James and Izzy Dane, and it sets up their tag team match with Chase U next week. So cool. We have a open challenge match between Dragon Lee, the new North American champion, taking on Tyler Bate. And this was the best match of the night, to the surprise of nobody. These two went out there and they cooked it up, man. They cooked up a good match, a good little work rate match, man. Good little back and forth, man. Dragon Lee got the win. Of course, he retained his North American Championship. And it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see, is he gonna defend it on SmackDown, because he is technically a SmackDown superstar. Speaking of SmackDown, I wouldn't mind seeing Tyler Bate get called up to the main roster, man. He's been in NXT for years, for the longest time ever. But he's been down there for a cool minute, man. It's time to call up Tyler Bate, man. Send him up to the main roster. So next up, man, we had a grudge match between Dijak and Eddie Thorpe. And before this match could even get out the blocks, they started fighting outside the ring. They get into the ring, the match starts, but it doesn't go on too long because, Eddie Thorpe sent Dijak into the steel steps. And I think that's where Dijak got busted open because like the side of his head had this big gash and he's just leaking blood everywhere. Like he's super bloody. And then the match kind of continues, but it stops because Dijak hit a like he slammed Eddie Thorpe into the turnbuckle and the whole turnbuckle broke. And the referee stopped the match because Dijak attacked Eddie Thorpe with the turnbuckle. And of course, the whole turnbuckle broke, the rope broke. So you can't wrestle under those conditions. So the match stopped. But this rivalry is going to continue between Eddie Thorpe and Dijak because these two absolutely do not like each other. They hate each other's guts. They're very mean to each other, very mean individuals. But yeah, man, that's pretty cool. You also had Hank and Tank, or Tank the Hank, or whatever the hell their names are, being confronted by Gallus. They're gonna have a tag team match in the future. But then you had Joe Gacy come out of nowhere, like he's driving a forklift and he's holding coffee, and he's just being very weird. But he's just being very quirky and outlandish and outside of the box. And he's just being weird, man. It's not being weird, Joe Gacy. I don't know what the hell is going on with this man. But this led us to our main event segment. You had the winner of the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, Trick Williams, come out. But before I get too far, early in the show, you had Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes walking into the arena. And the people were talking to him like, "Yo, Trick, man, what's up, man? How you doing? How you living? Biggie Smalls?" And Trick Williams, he's soaking it all in. And Carmelo Hayes, he's still looking kind of jealous. Like, he gives Trick his opportunity to get his shine, but, he's still looking kind of suspicious and whatnot. And then later in the show, Carmelo Hayes got attacked out of nowhere. Or so we think. Allegedly. Carmelo Hayes got attacked. He's saying that his knee got injured. And it kind of sucks if he did get injured, indeed, because he's supposed to be competing in the United States Championship tournament this Friday on SmackDown. So who knows how he'll be able to recover from this injury that he sustained. But like I said, this led us to our main event segment. Yeah, Trick Williams coming out. He's talking to the people. He's talking about how he had the greatest comeback in sports entertainment history. He said he's Trick James, bitch. And he's saying that at New Year's Evil, between him and Dragunov, he's going to be on like Donkey Kong. And it's led us to Ilya Dragunov coming out. And, they're talking about how they respect each other. And, how this match is going to be awesome and blah, blah, blah. And how Dragunov respects Trick Williams. But, he's going to do whatever it takes to retain his NXT championship. But then out of nowhere, you had Carmelo Hayes limping to the ring, doing a little pimp limp all the way to the ring because his knee is allegedly hurt. And he's saying, "Listen, I've gotten to the bottom of this. I have it figured out. I know exactly who it was that attacked me." Carmelo Hayes accuses Dragunov of being the one that attacked him. And Dragunov was like, "Yo, what in the fuck are you talking about? I didn't attack you. I don't know who did. This is like a thing between you and Trick. Y'all figure this out." But Mel was like, nah, man, I know it was you. And it sounds like he's trying to like gaslight him and, place the blame on Dragunov. Ultimately, we know that it was Carmelo Hayes that attacked Trick Williams. He tried to place the blame. He's trying to deflect it. He tried it with Lexus King. That didn't really work. Now he's trying to deflect the blame on Dragunov. So, as they are arguing, Carmelo goes after the title, and him and Dragunov are having a little tug of war, and Carmelo accidentally hits Trick Williams with the title. So now I was like, yo, did Carmelo do this on accident, or was it on purpose? Who can we trust? Who attacked Carmelo? Who attacked Trick Williams? Was it the devil? Was it Adam Page? Was it the 1994 Denver Broncos? We don't know. These answers need to be revealed immediately, expeditiously. We have to get to the bottom of this. We have to crack this case. Who did it? We don't know, but hopefully we find out soon. Hopefully we get to the bottom of this. I'm being facetious. It was Carmelo Hayes. We know it was. We're just waiting for the shoe to drop. We're just waiting for the revelation to be revealed. But this is pretty interesting to see how we get to that point. And I gotta say, man, I don't want to make this a whole WWE/NXT thing versus AEW. But if I had to pick between a whole whodunit storyline, between the whole devil situation in AEW or the Carmelo Trick Mello gang situation in NXT, I'm gonna go with the whole Carmelo Hayes situation. It holds my interest a little bit more. WWE's been a lot more consistent with it than AEW has with the devil situation, but it is what it is. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. My rating for this week's episode of NXT gets the honorary W. But let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. Let me know who you think is going to win the North American. Let me know who you guys think is going to win the NXT Breakout Tournament and why it's going to be Obafemi. Let me know all these things. Of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe. You guys take care. Bees, I'm out. Peace.